where I am right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, is not the end. It's not how it's going to be the next day and the day after. So there's always an opportunity to change things around, to switch it around.
Hey, I'm Ronja Sakata, founder of the Joy Academy and Queen of Joy. That's how my friends call me. It's so important to me that my life is full of joy and that I enjoy every moment because I know how fast it could be over. We can do so many things to bring joy in our lives, to create joy, and that's what this podcast is all about. I talk with people and they tell me how they bring joy to their everyday life and how they create a life full of joy. So let's dive right in, and please tell me after the episode what your takeaway is from this talk. Welcome, Farah, to this episode of the Joy is My Compass, the Let's Create Joy podcast. I'm so happy to have you here and to talk about joy and everything which is important and create joy in your life. So tell us where you are, who are you, and what do you do, and what brings you joy, and how you create joy. And from there we go into magic spheres we don't know yet.
All
Welcome.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate this opportunity to share my voice across the globe. I am right now located in Montreal, Quebec, and that's in Canada. And what I do for a living, I am a nutrition coach. I'm a chef. I am also a Neuro-Active Coach, which is like a life coach, but we use different methods. It's very similar to PNL, and we use other science as well to ask deeper questions and get to the root cause of things. So what brings me joy is being able to myself grow. So I love growing. I love hitting goals and doing things. I love actually using my hands to do things, or my creativity. And that is through helping people. And helping people, basically, we kind of see in others, a reflection of ourselves. So it's a mutual thing. So I help people growing and they help me growing. So I feel like it's just a great thing, and very related to, our common purpose, which is growing and evolving. So I love doing what I do. I love also cooking. I love eating as well. So this is why I also added nutrition into what I do. My father is a chef, and my mom is also like a great cook. So they both transferred me their passion for cooking. And ever since I was 8, I wanted to be on TV and share recipes and cook. So I did study something else and then end up going back to it. So yeah, that's what I do now. So I create recipes, I write in magazines, I have a blog, I have an online coaching program where I guide my clients who want to change their eating habits to eat healthier, lose weight, and have a better connection with food. I guide them to transform, anything that is involved in the process. So I use a mind, body, soul approach to help them, transform the old story, help them to take action and, eat the food that they want to eat the right food, nourish their body, and also have a deeper connection with themselves.
Yeah, it's such a holistic approach. I love you have all people watching, you have to, or listening, you have to follow Farah on her Instagram channel. It's so cool. When you post the the spices and you combine it. I eat vegan, but I get so much inspiration of your spices, and we were talking about what's this spice in, I don't know it in English. It's so cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, like food for me is so important too, and to have a bad relationship with food, it's such like, oh no, let's change that. So I'm so happy that you offer this
Yeah.
but not with diets and rules and like, no, that's bad, like holistic. That's the big difference.
That's it. I don't believe in diets. They were never there before, the humankind got so smart and tried to like section different type of foods, and I feel like different civilization as well have a different way of eating. So some people from certain areas, they don't digest meat well. Well, that's a fact. So it's okay if meat is not part of their diet. Same thing as dairy. Some countries didn't use dairies, so some people just don't do dairies. And same as wheat, so people are allergic to gluten and stuff like that. So we also have to go back to the root and understand really what your genetic allows you to eat, what matches with your body well.
But do you do all kinds of scientific testing, or are you, I'm more the feeling and trusting like what I want to eat? If I get my channel of wants clear, like if it's only chocolate, maybe that's not so healthy. But if I'm in contact with my body, I know what's good for me. I don't need a genetic test. Or are you combining these things?
So I don't do any test, to be honest. And I'm more the type to, like you just mentioned, listen to your body. Your body's the best indicator to tell you like what didn't go well and what's good for you. So I really work with the inner feeling, getting in touch with your body to really feel what's good for you and what's not.
Do you have any like easygoing tip for super beginners? Like I eat always too much or too fast, and how do I start? Do you have a thing where you can like a lifeline where I could grasp to change something if that's my problem?
Yeah. That's a good question. And the first thing that that I tell my clients that I get to do with them is that I get them back in touch with their satiety feeling.
Yep.
So the brain sends us a message when it's time to eat. And then when we don't feel that message of hunger, actually, it's the hunger message. When you don't feel hunger anymore, then it means that you're done. Right? As simple, as simple as this. So I guide them to get back in touch with the satiety feeling by eating, alone with no phone, no TV, no talking, and just like taking their time to eat and trying to taste, all the flavors, all the spices, all the vegetables that you're eating. Oh, this is a different consistency. I think I'm biting on the broccoli right now. Oh, now on this side, I have the rice. Okay. And then mixed together, there's the sauce that I just added. So this is how I would recommend someone to get back in touch with, the food, the relationship they have with food, and getting back to the point where you eat at a normal pace and you put in your plate the right amount of food that you need. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because that's it. But how do you respond like I think it starts in the childhood. Eat that plate up, or like then you unlearn this feeling. When Mika, my little daughter, she's not so little anymore, and she's really not trying vegetables. She eats fruit. I'm very happy, and I have my big plate of like yummy veggies and tofu and rice or something, and she sees my good example, but she's not impressed at all. But
Okay.
she really is good with, I'm done. And I really respect that. But if you don't respect that, you unlearn this this feeling.
It's true, and it's very true.
So
A
are we
lot
just
of
a generation of people who had to eat up their plate? Is that the correct term in English? Eat up?
yes, yes, yes,
Yep.
definitely the right
Yep.
term. So, and I think it's from the mentality that, getting food was so difficult back in the day. So the wasting is not appropriate, or it's not being grateful that, you have food on the table. So, my parents had to work hard for us to have food, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for, generations and generations before me. So food has been a thing since, the beginning of time. So, the caveman, his main stress was to be able to live, in the next moment, so being able to protect himself and also to feed himself, to find food. So they sleep, wake up, the mission is to hunt, find food, and, protect the family, protect the tribe, and go on for the next day. So having enough food is something that's been, here ages ago. And I feel that we need to kind of like tone it down a little bit and don't overload our plate with food, because there will be some tomorrow, right? So a lot has to do with that. A lot has to do with the childhood, like you mentioned earlier. It could be a certain relationship that you were lacking. Eating is being nurtured, and the first person who nurtures you is the mother, right? So sometimes if the connection with the mom is not so well, it could be a solution that, you find is to eat a lot and then overdo it and eat bad food and just have a bad connection with food. So it's related to so many things. And this is why on my coaching program, I really start with the mind. So get in touch with what's in your mind. What are the beliefs that you have about food, about taking care of yourself? And then also we will go into the childhood, the relationships. What is your relationship with your mom, with your dad, with your siblings? How was your childhood? And what are the traumas that happen over there? To really put them in your conscious and realize that, okay, some habits and some things that I am doing, that I have, the habits that I have now, are due to things that are related from the childhood. So the work that I do with my clients is not to undo things, but really to understand.
Yep.
And then from there, they're either able to move on or to deal with it and then move on later on.
That's again so holistic. I think if you do the food, which is so near to our soul in a quick way, it's never long term. It's just a quick, like, yeah, like hitting a goal and then back to whatever was before, and that's so frustrating. So yeah, I love this holistic approach. And what I was thinking about before, because of the leftovers, or like leave food on the plate, I like to like just take as much food as I want to eat on my plate. But if I'm full, these leftovers, I don't throw them away. I can use them. I love to have, like, it's a buffet of things, and then you can combine things or make it. We in Switzerland, we always have an oven, a big oven where we can bake things. And do you say, you speak French better than I do? Gratin, what's that in English?
Yeah. So basically like a casserole.
Yeah, so that's so cool, like mix things together and then bake it. So I really hate food waste, but being full and stopping doesn't make me having food thrown away. It's just like having another palette, like things I can combine afterwards. And I
So
think
create
for
another
that, you
mental
can just
capacity.
try. And maybe sometimes I tell my husband, like, ooh, today I made something, well, it wasn't that nice. Too many flavors are sometimes a bit adventurous.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
mostly it's like, oh, okay, that was nice. Yeah.
So you recreate new things, create new flavors,
Yes.
and new
Yes.
meals out of this. That's great. That's a good alternative.
And how do you take care of yourself and of your joy and of your food? Like, I know taking care of clients brings you joy. I know that from my work, but like you personally, what do you do for your joy, for your energy, for your well-being? Do you have any gems to share?
So one thing that I love to do is actually just like sit back and just sit with myself. I like to connect with myself and understand, okay, where I'm at mentally, emotionally, physically, and just taking that time for myself allows me to address whatever issue that I have. So I love being in a state where I'm okay. And sometimes, like, the days, they go by fast, and sometimes we go through things, they put us in a certain mood or a certain mindset, and we don't even realize it, and we just add on to it and add on and add on and add on, and this is when we feel unwell. So I like to maintain my well-being at a state where I feel like, okay, if I'm super happy, that's amazing. That's great. I love to, like I mentioned, sit back with myself, and it could be like just meditating. Sometimes I like to play with cards. Sometimes also I like to listen to music. Dancing, it really allows me to like set my inner child free and just act, crazy and have fun. So these are things that I really love to do. Not so complicated, very simple, and yet so effective.
What kind of meditation do you like? Do you have like a certain practice you love, or do you have different kinds of? Because if you never have meditated, it's like, yeah, everybody's meditating, but where should I start again? And I
Yeah.
like to have like, if somebody
Mhm.
thinks like, oh yeah, she's so cool, I want her advice on where to start with meditating.
I feel like meditation is like a journey itself. So whenever you start meditating, well, people, have the belief that meditating is being able to shut down your mind and then just sit there and meditate. And no, basically the mind is not, it's not possible to shut down the mind. It's like trying to stop, your heart from beating. It's not possible. So it's really creating that connection with yourself. So the mind, just listening to what is going through my mind, is one type of meditation that I love to do, to kind of understand, okay, what are the thoughts that I have right now that are, running? And then that helps me choose the next activity to do. So if it's a lot of like frustration and stuff, then maybe I need to write about it. If it's a little bit of sadness, then dancing really helps me to like switch it off. And talking as well with my husband. I talk a lot with my husband, just get it out of my body to kind of get, the energy to flow a different way. So meditation, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be like just setting the intention into connecting with yourself. Sometimes guided meditation is great when you know you want something in particular, and just YouTube like meditation on happiness, and then following the steps, and then following the meditation itself. So I don't have this one method yet. I would say that I like to just go with the flow.
When did you start? You said you studied something else and then now you're doing what you're doing. Like, when did, I have to start again. Was there a turning point where you were like, no, I need to take care of myself, of my mindset, of everything, and not running in the hamster wheel of the world or society, like the normal jobs, 9 to 5 or like 8 to 11 p.m. Was there some point where you said, stop, enough, I do it a different way? Or was it like a gradual thing without a pivotal moment or something like that? How was your journey to, because you seem so connected, and so like, wow, how do I get there when I'm listening to you? So like, I think it helps, like, there was my point. So I can connect the dots for my life when I'm listening, like, oh wow, okay, I can get there, but just step by step.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for that. I feel like sometimes I need to get myself together. A
Yeah,
lot
but
of
we all do. But I follow you now for a certain time, and I really love what you put out. And the authenticity, that's all we need. And
Right.
then it's just real, and that's what speaks to me very much, when it's real and not like staged or faked or teleprompted. It's just you.
Yes.
But yeah, like, the journey is so interesting, I think, for gaining trust in our own journeys when we hear others journeys.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. To me, it was very drastic.
And if you don't
And
want to share, you don't have to, of course, but like
oh,
stepping
I really don't
stones, just
mind. I
mention what
really
you
don't
want.
mind.
If it was so drastic, I don't want to
Drastic
push
in a
you.
way where I didn't have a choice, So this is why I say it's drastic. So I studied in physical rehab therapy, and that itself, just the studying part, was a journey. I was in a program with a lot of people that I didn't connect much with, and there was a lot of things that we had to do in teamworks, for exams, for to study, just to learn the techniques. So it was difficult to bond with everybody because I was so introverted, and I felt like I wasn't worthy of being in that program because all of those people, they were motivated and stuff, and I was still shy in my corner, and um, you know I had difficulty fitting in, let's say it like that. And I ended up finishing the program. Everything went well towards, well, at the end, it was well. It was just the end. Let's say it like that. And I worked in the field for about 5 years. And my dream job was to work for the government in at a 9 to 5, and having my weekends off, and having my office, going to my clients' house, and then just coming back. So I treated elderly, also patients who had knee replacements and hip replacements. So I would see them prior the surgery, and after the surgery we do the rehab home. So that was exactly what I wanted, permanent. It was like my position, so I had all the benefits. So doing my job, life goes on. I get married, and we move in together. Once we get married, my husband and I, and then I realized, like, a month, not even a month after getting married, I realized this disconnection with what I do. I was like, what is this? I would have difficulty waking up in the morning, um, wanting to call in sick and just stay home all day under the covers in bed. And so every day was just like, all right, just push it. You probably need just a couple of days off. And we have like a day off in about a month. This is how I would fuel myself. You have a day off in a couple of days, or the weekend is coming, so you're gonna get by. And then this disconnection just created like a real sadness, I would say, inside. I really felt like I, again, wasn't worthy of the job that I have, that the others were doing better and I wasn't doing enough. And I also felt like I could give so much more to the world than what I'm doing right now. So no offense to the elderly, and I feel like they did their part in the society. And going over there, and seeing them with all the disabilities that they have, and wanting to get back to like a shape that is not possible actually made me feel really like powerless. So they had trouble walking, going to the bathroom. And, their goal was to have enough strength to like go to the bathroom, go to the supermarket, and, go back home and visit their kids by themselves. And I was just like, oh, listen, it's not that I want to jinx anything for you, but the way your bones are set up right now, it's not possible. And, I feel like also the employer didn't really have our back on this point. So we were like stuck in the middle. So when I say we, it's me and my colleagues, because I've been talking to my colleagues and about how I felt unpowered, like unpowered, not unpowered, but powerless. Am I saying the right word? Yeah. And also with the money. So at a certain point, well, you have your salary, and then it just doesn't, you max, you don't make more money. So I look at my goals, my life goals, my family, my kids that I want to have. I was like, okay, I want about like 3 to 4 kids. So like, how is it going to be possible to live with this amount of money? It's not enough. And with time, I just felt like, I had to take like a decision, but I was avoiding it. And what really forced me to, sit down and think about it is that with time, the more disconnected I felt, um, I started to have this pain in my back. So I started having sciatic pain. And I would sometimes like, okay, take a day off, rest, and then go back to work. But the job that I do is very physical. I have to, lift limbs and then move them around and use my car, go up the stairs, down the stairs. So at a certain point, I just couldn't do it. The day that I came into work, lumping on a leg, and I didn't tell, my superior that I wasn't feeling well. I was just getting by. And someone told her, and she came in my office and she said, someone told me that, you're limping, you're not doing well. And I said, no, I actually have a lot of pain. And she said, well, that means you have to go to the clinic. So I went to the clinic, and then I was signed off of work. Uh, I was signed off for a sick leave, and it just went downhill from there. So the pain was really crucial. I had trouble doing the things that my patient had trouble to do. So like going to the bathroom, cooking for myself, standing up, it was something. And it really forced me to like get into my body, because I was in so much pain, and nothing could take the pain away except for medication. So I kind of like took the time to listen to what was going on in there. And it's when I realized that, okay, there's a lot of pain in there. Um, a lot of pain that lead me to a point where one day I was sitting on the edge of my sofa, and I was like, okay, what is it that I do? Do I take action, or I do something else? So I had two choices. So one was to go in my kitchen and grab a tool, hurt myself, and just take my own life. And the other option was just to do something about it. So I just remember moving and doing something. And the thing that I did was I grabbed my phone and I put on a podcast. I put on a podcast to like get me out of there because it was deep. And the podcast that I listened to was the Sports Motivation Podcast. I wasn't into sports. I wasn't doing any sports. It's just that the host of the podcast was speaking in a way that really connected with me. So on that episode, he was promoting his online coaching program. And on that day, I just went on his website and I was like, okay, I'm in.
Wow.
And I want to do it. I don't know what it's going to take. It took a lot of money that I didn't have, but I had credit cards, So I took the program, and within like the first 3 months, I was able to, visualize the future that I want for myself clearly, and not as a dream, because I always knew what I wanted, and it was always like, on my right side at the top. And that day that I was on my sofa, I was like, this is never going to happen. This is impossible. But as the more I go through the program, the more it was like possible. So it wasn't even a dream. It's like a plan, it's the end goal of the plan. So the more I was listening also to other people doing like big things, so that it is a sport, not a sport program, but he's a mindset consultant for people who want to do sports at high level. So you had soccer players, basketball players, dancers, Muay Thai fighters, and it's a lot of masculine energy, and I really needed that at that moment. So I decided that, all right, so I might take a leap of chance and just take action into that plan and quit my job. And the more I think of it, I thought of it, I talked to my husband about it, and it became something that was, realistic, that was going to happen. And when I finally took the decision, the pain gradually just went away. I was also, because I stayed home for 6 months, I gained a lot of weight. And I was trying to lose weight without doing exercise because I couldn't move.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what a challenge.
Yes.
So the pain started to go away. I started losing weight gradually without doing exercise. And I was just like, okay, what is this? This is magical. Like what's happening? So finally I just go back to work. I work for about like 3 months, giving my resignation letter, and jump on the journey. That's what happened basically.
Wow, that's so like magical. But I think clarity, when that's now my decision, everything is like, wow, your body is responding so heavily in a good way.
Definitely. And later on, I figured out, because I took so many courses, to gain more knowledge. Later on, I figured out that back pains are related to um, a point where like your body is kind of like sitting you down so you can take a decision. So
Oh,
it's a
wow.
conflict of direction. And I was like, what? So it's exactly what I had. I didn't know what to do. Like I had so many options, but I was also scared. And when, like you said, when I gained clarity, it was just like poof, everything went away.
Wow. Yeah, and the body talks to us, and
Oh yes.
we really should listen, because that's like, it's not everything. I believe we're much bigger than this physical body, but that's our moving vehicle through this life. So like, let's treat our body like the queen or king that we are. Wow.
Definitely.
And you could have taken just more and more painkillers, and then like kill
Yeah.
yourself with painkillers without hurting yourself, like intentionally.
I wasn't really taking the painkillers, to be honest, because the effects that it would have on me, I didn't like them. So I was sleeping, but not, a sleep where you feel rested. I would sleep and still be tired, have like stomach issues. And I just don't like medication in general. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the physical therapy, the chiro practice, whatever, everything. I'll just do it all. Because the problem was physical. I was like, there's no pill that is going to heal me. So I just have to do something to get the pain away. And later on, I found out that it was a decision that I had to take.
And I know you are big in yoga too. I think yoga is so great. When I have a headache, then I just have to do yoga, and it's all in my legs, like tension in arms and legs. And then the baddest headache just fades away. It's so cool. And painkiller doesn't have an effect on me, so why should I take it? It's like, yeah, you just have to do yoga. And I don't want to do yoga when I'm in my bed, like with a headache, but it's just like the cure. So get on the mat and do it.
That's it. And this is exactly when I started to connect more and more with yoga, because the yoga forced me to get into my body and in my mind as well.
And then you started cooking, or you were cooking all the time, like this creative way with all the spices and like, oh, for me it's like art. Watching your videos is really, really so wait, I look for the word. It's not soothing, it's like it's such a richness in them. I don't know if you feel that, but I feel it, like, wow.
Thank you. To me, and I try to, like, get more out. And I feel like, oh, this is so random, I'm not going to share that. But thank you for that. It really makes me realize that it's not, people don't have my standards.
No, really not. And
cooking, I've been cooking since I was 8, probably. Yeah. 8.
But when you were unwell, did you cook, or you just ate pizza all day long?
I cooked. I did cook. I did manage to figure a way out to cook, because this is, where my soul was happy. So with the online coaching program, with me, it was about the mind, the body. It was all the professionals I was seeing and doing the yoga, and then the soul was the cooking, really. So it really just made me happy, connect to something important to me. So whatever the method I had to use, I used it. So I had to use a chair, take a break after each 10 minutes.
Oh.
I did what I had to do just to, maintain that connection, because this is what made me go on until the next day. Mm-hmm.
So you said meditation, dancing, journaling also, and playing with cards, but maybe the bigger things, you can't go to a vacation every day, but like, what are the big things which bring you joy? Like, I love to go there or do that, or can you inspire us with your ideas, or what brings you joy?
Sure. Oh, that's a good question. I feel like my life is boring. No, I'm kidding. I love to learn new things. I love to learn. So when at a certain period, a few months ago, my husband and I, we took dancing classes, and that was very fun. We had a dance teacher. I would take dance classes by myself, and then this was the first one that we did together. So that was fun. And then I also started CrossFit about a year ago. So this is something new. And I'm always into something different to, like, grow. So I'm such like I'm such a joker. Like I can do anything and I'm not attached to like one specific thing, except for food.
And in the food range, are you like going through a Thai food phase and then a Japanese food phase, or are you like consistent there, or like worldwide, or how do you, like,
That's
you
a good
seem
question.
to need new influences and new inspiration all the time. So are you the same in the food business, or there you're like, no, this is my base?
So I'm the same thing with food. Same thing. If you'd see my weekly menu, you'd be like, okay, this is completely different. So let's say this week we'll have with right now I'm doing things really basically because I'm pregnant. But this week we're having lasagna and then we're having a lentil Ethiopian soup. So went from Italy to Ethiopia, and then another week I would go from Mexico into Thailand, and I just vary a lot what I do. And home cooking, where home is, I would say it's in the Caribbean flavors. Anything that's either like Haitian, I'm Haitian, Jamaican, or anything Trinidadian, I cook it, and this is just like the safe spot. I would say the safe place or the comfort food. This is where it is. And but I cook anything. If I had to write all my recipes in a book, oof, there would be a lot of recipes.
I would love to see your spice cupboard, or I don't know how you store them all, because like cooking so diverse,
Uh-huh.
for people who don't like cooking so much, it's like I don't even know all these spices, but if you have them all at home, you're like, me
Yeah,
too. I
I'm
have
just
the veggies
playing with them.
in my fry pan already, and then I go, is this now coconut curry or tomato? Like I can choose the direction while I'm cooking,
Right,
because
right.
everything is here. I just pull the ingredients out.
That's it. That's it. And this is one challenge that my clients have. It's creating meals that they find, tasty. And one trend that is on right now, I wouldn't call it a trend. I think that, just the world opened up their eyes and realized that, let's taste food from different places. So my clients are just like, okay, I'm trying to make this, but I don't know what spices to use. I don't know how to cook it and stuff. So I would guide them with teaching them, the base. So, all right, so you have a spice, okay? It's either like a root, a leaf, a flower, or the stem. And then you have this type of taste. There's like, sour, salty, dingy. And also I help them create the balance and basically just please their own palate. It doesn't have to be exactly the same and perfect. I mean, you're cooking for yourself, you're cooking home. It's not a cooking show or a competition. So it's really knowing the basics and knowing that, all right, in Indian flavors, I have these items. In Asian, these are the staples. And sometimes you just can use them in every meal and you'll be fine.
The staples, that's the word I was looking for. That's really like, if you have some cool staples, then you're like, just
That's it.
creativity is on. That's like having all the pencils and the brushes and the paint ready to go for painting.
That's it. Exactly. It's like, yeah, having like all the primary colors and then you just like mix two and then mix this mix with another color and just create your own.
So cool. And again, I know I'm like a broken record, like having joyful, like it's supposed to be fun. Like
Yes.
I love cooking, and after my cooking, the kitchen is just like a tornado went through.
Yep.
I don't know how you are, my husband is a chef, a Japanese chef, and it looks like in an operation at the hospital, you know, like everything is clean and neat. And I'm like, oh, you're so annoying. And he can't even enter the kitchen when I'm cooking. He's like, oh my God, you're just, this mess is, we had the deal first, you know, when we got married very young. Like the person who's cooking dinner doesn't have to clean up the kitchen. And soon after he was like, okay, I have a new deal. It's a full-on package. If you cook, you have to clean up the kitchen. And if I cook, I cook too, because your mess is too much to take care of. That was like, okay. Oh. I could see his point, you know. I couldn't talk myself out of it. But yeah.
I made the same deal with my husband, and he still cleans after me. And I feel like the more passion, the more mess. Sometimes I try to get myself together and, you know, oh, I just used this pot, let's clean it right now. And I feel like this is the chef, this is where their strength is that, you know, they do a task and then just get over with it completely, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, but either way, having a joyful like feeling in the kitchen, yeah, that's so important. And take it easy. And if it's not tasty, well, then it wasn't tasty today, but try something different the next day. And then I would love to have, in my future vision, I have somebody living in house, and always after cooking, this person cleans up my kitchen.
It is a hard, you know, task to do, to cook and then clean and everything. It's like half of a day, you know.
And then with the child, you know, in Switzerland, children come home for lunch. Now we booked 3 times that she's eating in school, like at a different place where children with both parents working, they can go somewhere and eat lunch and then go back to school, but it's a total different system, very old-fashioned, because the mother is at home, right? But so she comes home Monday and Wednesday now, and then she's hungry, so like breakfast, lunch, dinner, it's like cooking all the time. But I love cooking, so that's no problem. So like let's round this beautiful talk up with what's your wisdom, your trick for life, like a big thing or a little thing, like just start here or just do that, or just like Farah's wisdom final blurb. I like to say, I said that in different episodes too, like Kat Loturso, now she calls herself different, but she's like, when the world would listen and you have a megaphone and you can talk for 1 or 2 minutes, what would you say? You know, I like this task. It's like, oh wow, okay, my chance. So it's not already that the whole world is listening to this podcast, but the right people will hear you.
Yeah, and I really wish you that, you know, it gets into the ears of the whole world. So the advice that I would give, oh my God, there's so many things. So
you can say longer than just 1 minute. Just go ahead.
So the one thing that I really, really learned in my journey is that where I am right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, is not the end. It's not how it's going to be the next day and the day after. So there's always an opportunity to change things around, to switch it around. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how impossible things may seem, there's always a way to change and grow. And I think this is where I'm really holding on. This is what helps me hold on really to life. And not that I need help anymore, it really fuels me is that I don't know who I'm going to be next week, and in 4 weeks, what are my gains are going to be? What am I going to be able to achieve? Who am I going to be able to help? So now is gone by the time I say it. So if things are difficult now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be that in the next 15 years. So yeah, I would say that this is my biggest thing.
Thank you. And now tell everybody, where can they find you, and which people are the perfect like fit for your program? Like who should text you like right away?
Right. So right now, just to specify, I have like this new program that I'm getting together, which is that you mentioned earlier for pregnant women, for women, mothers, women who also lost babies. And my goal with this is to get, motherhood back to where it should be. I feel like a lot of who we are is into our childhood. So anything that involves parenting, I'm getting, I'm getting with my husband to do this. So anything that involves parenting, we want to coach about that, about evolving, about getting over, childhood, and then just taking the parenting journey to another level and raise the next generations a different way that we were raised. So this is something that is very important to me. And right now, I just started this, and I have a page on Instagram, which is called Birthing Legacy. So it's Birthing Legacy in one word. This is where you can find anything regarding parenting, motherhood. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Parenting, motherhood, prenatal care, maternity, postpartum. I'm also working with my doula on this. So this is a very great project that is, I feel like, the knot of everything, the center of the knot. So everything starts there. And I feel from there, we can heal so many things, so many people, and become whoever we want. So this is one program that's coming up. And then the actual program that I have is the transformation, the Trinity Transformation Program, which is a mind, body, soul approach to transformation. And in the program is also inserted like a cooking program where I teach the basics of cooking healthy meals. So anyone who wants to get back in touch, with eating healthy food, eating a healthier way, get back in touch with themselves, transform, go through a transformation, and become who they are authentically, can send me a message, and then we'll go into a consultation on my other page, which is Farah.knows. So Farah.knows, KNOWS.
And we will put all the links into the show notes and everywhere anyway.
Awesome.
So I think I like it to listen to the page and then read it. It's like, oh yeah, I heard that before. Thank you so much for your time and your energy and your beautiful flowers. Every time you said like, I like to grow, these flowers like seem to move, it's so growy around you. It's so beautiful. And congratulations to your pregnancy and all the best. And I'm so happy that we're connected, and everybody connect with Farah and all. Bless you. All the beautiful stories on Instagram. Like, thank you so much for sharing your gift to the world. And this time.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you for doing what you do. I feel like, people need to listen to great stories as well. So I know you interviewed my husband, and also amazing people with amazing journeys, and those journeys are example of, that, or example or proof that, happiness is possible. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Have a great day in Canada. It's evening now here in Switzerland when we're recording. And when we're streaming this, it's soon Christmas. So if you are celebrating Christmas, happy Christmas to you.
Yes, Merry Christmas to all of you. And Happy
Bye-bye.
New
Thank
Year.
you so much. Yeah, Happy New Year. That's the next thing.
Hoping that the year will be better.
Let's have an amazing 2020, 2021. Yes. So, see you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
If you liked this episode, I look forward to a review from you, and it would be so nice to hear from you what you liked best and what is your takeaway, and maybe it sparked some idea. You really are surprised to have this idea now, and you can go and create joy for your life. And please tell me about it. I would love to hear from you. My contact details, you will find them in the show notes. Have a wonderful day.